You're watching What She Said on YouTube.
Hello there and welcome back. I'm Christine Bentley in studio with Kate Wheeler, and joining us now is a Canadian improv and comedic gem. Reid Janisse is a Second City alumnus, has appeared on Orphan Black, The Ron James Show. Should we keep on going or should we just welcome Reid?
Well, we should welcome him, but I can't figure out what's funny about Orphan Black.
Well, I just played a small part. I was a desk clerk. If you watch episode 2, you'll be like, there he is, and there he goes. It's on the credits, but I can't really brag about that one.
Well, no, but I mean, it is a credit. So we're going to mention
a big
the credit.
credit.
Sure, yeah.
Temple credit is huge.
Yeah. And probably my best work, too. Like 7 of my best lines.
Yes,
so.
I know. Sitting at a desk at Orphan Black is a credit, so I wanted to mention it. But we could go on and on about your credits. So how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Good.
You're getting ready for enjoying this show?
Yeah, we are getting ready like crazy. We've been in rehearsals for the past 3.5 weeks, and we're in previews right now, which means we do a show, and then we rehearse during the day and change a whole bunch of stuff that didn't work, and then we do another show, and then we make some more changes, and it's going really great, and we open on Thursday.
This
so
is
there.
I don't think we've mentioned that this is actually Cinderella, the GAGS to Riches family musical that's opening on Thursday.
Yes.
Sharon's going, and Alex Simpson is going for us, because we're getting ready for our live show at the One of a Kind the next morning, early, but we will be hearing all about it and then going to see it a little later on. I love the pantomime. I grew up in England, and
nice.
Christmas panto was... that was a must for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Well, you wrote this.
Yes.
And so tell us about it. Tell us about the...
Sure.
Yeah.
Ross Petty brought... pretty much was one of the first people to bring the panto over from England. He spent a lot of time in England, and of course they're insane over there. Every theater has a panto. Everyone does them. Everyone goes. It's a huge tradition for everyone. And so Ross wanted to bring that over to Canada. He's been doing them for I don't even know how many years. It's his 19th year at the Elgin Theatre.
Wow.
And if you haven't been to a pantomime, it's an extravagant display of comedy and dance and singing and costumes and technical
audience
wizardry,
involvement,
audience interaction. It's an insane show that for a lot of kids it's the first time they've seen theater or at least theater on that scale. And it tends to just blow people's minds, and it's so much fun, and there's so much visual candy and jokes and interaction. It's just a really great time for the holiday season.
Well, it must have captured you because this is the third one you've written, is it? Or
the second one I've written. It's my third one as an actor.
As an actor.
Yeah.
And so was that quite the jump to go from performing in one to writing?
I think I actually was contacted by Ross years ago to submit a treatment to write one of his shows. So he knew me as a writer before an actor, and then after I auditioned for him a couple of years ago, he hired me on as an actor. And the most unique thing about a panto process is that you're always adding current jokes, you're always changing things up, you're creating a new musical on the fly every single year. And so it worked out pretty well that I could perform in the show and then also be there to write the show. And I've been writing for years as well, and so it ended up working out really well that I could do both. I could act in the show and write the script as well.
Now, one of my favorite things about a panto, from a child's point of view and an adult's point of view, taking my own children, was that there were jokes aimed at all levels. Yes. There were some that thankfully went right over the children's heads, but had parents doing that evil little laugh.
Yes.
Yes. So plenty of that?
Yes, there's always lots of that. And the most fun part about writing a script like this is that there are jokes in it specifically for the kids, like Big Hero 6 references and fun physical gags that you hear all the kids giggling, and then some jokes are for everybody really, and you'll hear the 80-year-olds and the 5-year-olds laughing. And then of course you get those other jokes that are just for the parents, either like satirical, political references, or risque double entendres that the parents are laughing at, and the kids are just like, I don't get it, but something funny's happening. And so that's always fun.
And there must be, it's Cinderella, so there has to be an evil stepmother and stepsisters to boo and hiss.
Yes. Now, Ross always plays the evil character, so he's the evil stepmother. So he's back in a dress this year. People were a little disappointed last year because he wasn't in a dress, so he's back in a dress this year. He likes to mix it up a little bit and keep people guessing, but he's the perfect evil villain. He's got that evil voice, and he loves just walking out and hearing all the boos from the audience, because in a panto, when the evil character walks out, that's what you do, you boo. And to hear, like 1,200 people all boo at the same time, it's pretty fantastic.
So what's your preference, writing or performing, or is it just all part of the same process?
That's a great question. I struggle with that daily.
Do you?
I think not necessarily a struggle. Writing is great at the end of it when you see your finished product and you feel good about it. And there are great moments when you're writing. You get those eureka moments where you've been struggling with something for a couple of hours, and then all of a sudden it breaks through. So it's rewarding in a different way. I think anyone who's ever acted on stage loves the rush of just walking out there and hearing a laugh or feeling a reaction from a crowd. I love performing, and as long as I can do both, I think I'll be pretty happy, and so I can mix it up, doing a little bit of writing, a little bit of acting, and some directing.
It's that personal connection with an audience, I think, that stage actors love.
Love it. And I mean, like, working in TV, it's nice because you have that record of your work. You can do thousands and thousands of theater shows, and like, you tell your kids about it or something, and they'll be like, "Sure, Dad, you did all those shows in front of thousands of people. Where's the proof?" And there's no real record of it. But in film and TV, you get to work that one day, and then it's always there.
Okay, I just checked my notes, and I didn't realize that you're also the director for the current show at the Second City main stage, Rebel Without a Cosmos.
Yes.
We have tickets to give away for that, so we should,
Well,
while you're
all right.
here, we should mention, what's the premise of that show?
That's the standard Second City show. So it's a sketch show. It's loosely tied with a theme of self-absorption. I mean, pretty much everyone in the world, whether it's selfies or just trying to get yourself famous online, there's a loose kind of thread going on about that. But like any other Second City show, it's a collection of sketches and songs and monologues that are satirical and fun. Lots of amazing characters in the show, and the cast is fantastic. 6 of the funniest comic actors and improvisers in the city, so it's a lot of fun.
Now, are you just directing it, or are you in it?
I just directed that show, so that opened in September, so right before we started the Panto.
So we ask this to women all the time, but so now we're going to ask you. So how do you juggle all this? Because you're also a dad. So you've written, you're performing in one show, directing another show. You have children. Where do you find the time for all this? And meanwhile, you're trying to find that aha, eureka moment for that particular moment in the scene.
It's a lot of time management.
Yeah, no kidding.
It gets a little bit crazy. I have a fantastic, supportive wife who also, she's a drama teacher, and she's constantly creating shows as well with her classes and her drama students. So after the kids go to bed, it's a lot of sitting around with outlines and papers and bouncing ideas off of each other while we're making lunches and doing dishes, and it's a lot of time management. I'm looking forward to January because I've been going pretty nonstop since July.
So how old are your children?
My kids are 5 and 8.
And do you see any inkling there with those kinds of genes? I would think that we've got a budding, 2 budding performers or directors or writers or something there, no?
It's hard to tell. I brought my son on a couple of auditions early on, like a couple commercial auditions, and he didn't really seem that into it, and I didn't really like dragging him around to things, so I haven't really gotten them into the business at all yet. My daughter, I think, will probably, she seems more inclined to want to go up on stage and kind of make people laugh. She has kind of a goofy personality. My son's more into sports. We're not going to force them into doing anything like that. And if they want to have a career in acting, that's great, but we're also going to tell them how hard it is. And if they love it, then go for it.
An actor $5,000 a year.
As long as you have another job that you like doing, it's great.
We're just the reason I brought it up is that Kate's daughter is an actress, and so she, she knows of what you speak.
Yes.
A little bit.
She's been fortunate so far, but I always tell her it could be the last thing you ever do. You never know.
Yeah, but do it as long as you can, because it's so great, and as long as, like I said, as long as you have something else you can do for income for those years that aren't as fruitful,
Okay,
That's the way to go.
Can you tell us quickly how
Yes.
our listeners can find out more about the show and how they can get their tickets?
Yes, go to rosspetty.com. We open on Thursday, and then pretty much running from Thursday all the way till January 4th. There are tons of shows. It's at the Elgin Theater, which is beautiful. If you haven't been there, it's this gilded, beautiful, old gem for the city. And just go to rosspetty.com and get your tickets. It's a lot of fun for the whole family.
Okay, this is just in Toronto, obviously. Does it ever go on tour?
They toured it a couple of times. They don't tend to tour just because of the work involved and because of so many people in this city have made it such a tradition that it works really well in Toronto, but hopefully someday they can start to tour them again.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Reid Janisse, for coming in and telling us all about Cinderella, the Gags to Riches, a family musical.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.